Hi guys, so today I'm doing a tips video. Now this is a video that I wish I had when I was pregnant. It's kind of like things that I wish I knew when I was pregnant with my first child. So I'm going to get started. There's going to be 10 of my top tips. I've written them down because I'm rubbish at memorising, so if you see me looking down it's because I've written them down. Okay, so my first tip is to buy to season. Now, this is something that some people are probably thinking, yeah, obviously, but this did not occur to me because I fell pregnant in the winter and Jacob was due in the summer, so I basically went mental on winter clothes for a newborn, which was pointless. I bought a beautiful pure white snowsuit for Jacob, newborn, and I think it cost me about £50, and he never wore it because he was born in July. So yes, that's my mistake. So that's my first tip, is make sure you remember that your baby will be either born in summer or winter. Yeah, so like there's no point in buying snowsuits or, you know, baby clothes or whatever if your baby's going to be born in summer. So yes, make sure you remember that. My second tip will be forget about Google completely. Don't Google things because you will end up driving yourself insane with what if and, you know, what about. Yeah, I think from the second I thought I was pregnant, I went straight on Google and found out a whole list of things that could go wrong. So my entire pregnancy I spent worrying about what if this happens. So there's a very fine line between doing your research and just going overboard with, you know, filling your head with completely terrifying things that just are irrelevant. Okay, so my third tip is something that I think all parents should know, and I think all parents do get a bit carried away, but would be don't buy tons, because although you're sat there now thinking, oh, I'm going to dress baby in loads of cute little outfits, don't, because not only are babies spindly and wriggly, they also grow really fast, so there is no point in filling your entire wardrobe with really cute newborn outfits, because chances are he or she is not going to end up wearing half of them. I bought hundreds of outfits for Jacob and he spent his entire newborn life, in fact probably the first 3 months of his life, in baby grows, just because they're easier and, you know, they're easy to wash, easy to get on and off for changing bums and stuff. So yeah, even though it is highly tempting to buy tons of gorgeous dresses or maybe some little jeans or something, yeah, they're just not practical at all. My number 4 tip would be cherish every single second. Literally every second of crying, of cooing, of little baby noises, even whilst being pregnant, cherish every single little bump, every kick, because it just goes so fast. I mean, Jacob's only 6 months old now and I'm already kind of forgetting what he was like as a newborn. You know, it was what, like 3-4 months ago that he was, you know, small enough to snuggle in a tiny little blanket, and now he's just, well, if I hold him, like his legs are just halfway across the room. He's so big and so full of character. And although it may be, you know, you're sat there thinking, you know, with your newborn, oh, I can't wait until he or she's grown up, or grown up a bit more to go through the night, just don't wish it away, because before you know it, they're 6 months old and they're trying to crawl and they don't want cuddles anymore because they don't want to be restricted. So yeah, cherish every single second, because it's just beautiful. Being pregnant is beautiful, although a bit, you know, painful, but and also cherish labour as well, because some people get horrific labours, you know, they get life-threatening labours, and some people don't get labours at all, you know, they have to have a C-section. So if you're one of the lucky ones to have, you know, like a natural labour, then cherish it. You know, it is painful, it's horrific, but just cherish every second. My 5th tip would be, don't be afraid to shop around for baby items. 9 times out of 10, if one place is having an offer, like Asda or whatever, then, you know, the rest of the places are going to be having offers. But it doesn't always work like that. So, you know, if you think about getting maybe an electric swing or a bouncer or something, and you see a specific one that you really, really like, don't go for it straight away, because the likely chances are somewhere else, like maybe mother care or kiddie care, places like that will be doing an offer of some sort. And I mean, to some people it's not always about the money, but it's worth considering, you know. And I mean, if it's like £100 somewhere and then £50 somewhere else, then, you know, who doesn't want to save 50 quid? Number 6 will be walking. Walking is your best friend in the world ever. Trust me. As you can see, I'm clearly not a fan of exercise. But when it came to kind of a week before Jacob was due, I just walked everywhere. I walked to the town, which to you guys is irrelevant. It's about 3 miles from here. It is, I think a turtle could have overtook me, but because of that I had a very quick labour, and he was very low down in my pelvis. 3 days before I went into labour with Jacob, I walked all day. We went to the seaside, and yeah, I just walked all day, and I think that was the reason why my labour kind of happened so quickly. So, and I mean, even if you are in labour, it might be absolute agony, but you will be thanking yourself for it. Number 7 is to remember to talk with your partner about how you intend to parent. Now, before we had Jacob, me and Jamie never used to argue or, you know, disagree on anything. We're both really quite chilled and mellow, and the only disagreements, I say arguments, you know, we're not like shouting at each other, but the only disagreements we've had in the past 6 months are over how we parent Jacob. For example, those of you that watch my videos will know that I am completely against cry it out. You know, like letting Jacob just scream himself to sleep or anything like that, or, you know, leaving Jacob unsettled or in distress in any way. I'm completely against it. But Jamie isn't. You know, he thinks that it will toughen him up, or, you know, he thinks that he thinks that Jacob is manipulating us, and I don't believe that. So make sure whilst you're pregnant and, you know, tensions aren't running high, that you talk to your partner and find out what their views are on certain things. You know, even for when the child's older, you know, are they a gentle parent, or do they prefer to maybe do time out, or are you against time out? Because things like that don't really come up until the moment, and, you know, you don't really want to be discussing it in front of the child. You know, it's just not practical really. So yeah, that is definitely something that I'd wish I'd done more, was making sure that me and Jamie were kind of on the same page, parenting wise. Number 8 is encourage dad bonding as much as possible. Now, not everyone is like Jamie. Jamie's quite distant and not really that bothered. When I felt Jacob's first kick, Jamie was there with me, and he was kind of, yeah, and kind of the months after that, he just kind of wasn't really that bothered by it really. And I mean, some men are, you know, really excited by that, but Jamie just didn't really care, and I think I am partly to blame for that, because I'd kind of lay there bonding with the baby, because obviously mum can feel him kicking and stuff like that, and you almost get to know your baby a bit when they're inside you, because, you know when they're awake, or what food that they kick to, or stuff like that. and dads can almost feel very disconnected. They almost forget that there's a baby in there, you know, and that was certainly Jamie's case as well. He forgot a lot of the time, but mind you, that is Jamie. That is Jamie's tendency. So yeah, I won't use Jamie as the general rule, but that's something that I wish that I'd kind of encouraged a lot more, is, you know, I mean, don't nag them if they're busy or whatever, but yeah, just make sure that dads know that they're involved too and they are a part of baby growing and things like that. Number 9, believe in yourself. If you feel that something isn't right, or you feel like something isn't the way it's supposed to be, then don't let anyone tell you that it's you know, normal, or, you know, not to worry, or let anyone tell you that it's silly or something like that, because at the end of the day, you are the person carrying that child. If you feel there's something wrong, then don't let it go. You go get checked out, for the love of God. Make sure you get checked out. A friend of mine didn't feel kicks. Oh, I might get a bit emotional. It was Christmas Eve a few years ago, and she hadn't felt her child kick, I think for about 12 hours, and she went to the hospital and they said, don't worry, it's fine, because it was Christmas Eve. They had skeletal staff on, and they said, don't worry, it's fine. It's fine, basically. Your baby's probably just tired. And that year she lost her baby on Christmas Day. Oh, getting a bit... She lost her baby on Christmas Day of that year. And the doctors told her that if she'd been induced Christmas Eve, then she would have a happy and healthy baby. But because they ignored her and ignored her instincts, she lost her baby, which is an absolutely horrible story, but it goes to show that mum really does know best. And yeah, don't you listen to that doctor that thinks he knows it all because he did 5 minutes in medical school. At the end of the day, it's up to you to decide whether something isn't right or not. So that is probably, you know, one of my biggest tips. Don't be, you know, even if you're young as well. Like for me, my biggest thing was, because I'm young, a lot of people tend to patronise you. It even got to the point where one of my midwives actually asked me how a baby was born. And I think she thought because I'm young that I wouldn't know how a baby was born. And I actually joked with her. I said, oh, it comes out the belly button, doesn't it? And bless her, her face was absolute shock. But yeah, if you are a young mum, or, you know, maybe an older mum, medical professionals tend to patronise a lot. So yeah, just go with your gut. And my 10th and final tip, I wish someone had told me this. Are you ready for the 10th and final tip? It's not labour. You might think it's labour, but it's not labour. And then when labour comes along, you'll think you'll be in denial. That's just how it works. It will get to the point where you're convinced that every little twinge, every little, I don't know, movement is labour, and it really isn't. And then when labour does come along, you will be kicking yourself, thinking, how on earth did I mistake this for so long? And if you're anything like me, oh God, if you're anything like me, then it will get to about a day into your labour, or whatever, it varies, but you'll get to kind of 2-3 centimetres and think, I can do this. I can deal with these contractions. I don't know what everyone's thinking about. I don't know what they're moaning about. Yeah, no, that's not labour. That's a gentle walk in the park. Yes, those are my top 10 tips that I wish someone had told me and just sat me down when I was pregnant and said these 10 things to me. But even then, I probably wouldn't have listened, because that's just the way it goes, really. I think if I could have seen this video like back then then I'd be a lot happier. And maybe my labour would have gone smoother as well. Here's a little bonus tip for you. If you're sat there worrying and fretting and not knowing what to do, if it'll all be okay, I promise it will be. It'll all be fine. Everything will work out. You'll be an excellent mum. He'll be an excellent dad. And it will be fantastic. It will all work out, I promise. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this little video. Recently I've kind of been doing the same videos over and over again, but I've got my plan now of the videos that I intend to be doing. So they're going to be a lot more detailed and quite different to what you're used to. So yes, please don't forget to comment, like and subscribe. And also don't forget that we are intending to do a couples Q&A in the very near future. So please, please, please give us your questions. Ask us anything, anything you like, and we will answer it. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.